Welcome to Season 4 of Casting Confidential. This season arrives at a pivotal moment. Casting is now formally recognized by both the Academy Awards and the Critics' Choice Awards. Across the season, I'm joined by actors shaping today's film and television landscape, award-recognized casting directors, and industry leaders to break down how casting actually works, who gets in the room, how decisions are made, and what moves careers forward. No mythology, no guesswork, just honest conversations about the process. And if you want deeper access to this work, bonus episodes, extended conversations, and live discussions, you can join the Casting Confidential community on Patreon. This is Casting Confidential. As an actor, you already know this problem. You need to rehearse or record a self-tape, but you don't always have someone around to read with you. That's where Raffi comes in. Raffi is an app that scans your sides and lets you rehearse with realistic reader voices. There are over 60 of them, so you can run scenes on your own anytime. It also has an optional built-in teleprompter, works in multiple languages, includes customizable slates based on what casting asks for, plus a web version and its own script library called Playhouse, where you can practice scenes and share your work on social media. Whether you're rehearsing, memorizing, or recording a self-tape, Raffi gives you control over your process without having to wait on anyone else. Raffi is available on the App Store and now on Google Play and on the web. Check it out at raffi.app. That's RAFY.app. We'll see you there. Hey, actors, I've got to let you know about an online acting event coming directly to you at home that the entire industry is getting involved with. Verticast Actors Pro Expo Virtual 2026, the biggest online expo for actors in the world, and it only happens once a year, June 9th through 11th. Over 3 action-packed days, learn directly from directors and casting directors leading exclusive seminars and hands-on workshops, including industry pros behind hit shows like The Crown, Bridgerton, Ted Lasso, and so much more. This is a truly global experience with actors, speakers, and industry insiders joining from every corner of the world. The Casting Society will be running auditions throughout the 3 days, and there are even virtual roundtables to connect with agents wanting to meet actors like you. And the best part, you could join from anywhere. Tickets start at just $2. Don't miss this. I'll be there with Casting Confidential hosting a panel. We'll see you there. Tickets are available at actorsproexpo.com. See you there.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Casting Confidential, the original unfiltered conversation about casting. No mythology, no guesswork, just how it actually works. Today's bonus roundtable is about something everybody talks about, but very few people actually understand. It's how do we acquire name talent for projects? Because from the outside, people think it's simple. You write a script, you make a list, you call an agent, and somehow a recognizable actor magically says yes. That's not how it works. Getting name talent attached to a project is strategy, relationships, packaging, timing, it's money, it's credibility, and very often it's knowing how to make a project feel worth the actor's time. So today we're going to talk about what actually happens behind the scenes, how casting directors help identify the right names, how producers think about offers, how representatives respond, why some actors engage and others never do, and why can we get a name is not a strategy. I'm here with names you all know. If you've been listening to our podcast, our favorite Casting Confidential roundtable panel of casting directors, we have Cheryl Louden-Kubin. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you, Rose. Happy to be here.
Yes, and Robin Carus.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Robin. All right. We're going to get into it now. After that long opening, are you guys ready to talk about this? I mean, it needed that. needed that crazy long opening. Let's start with the phrase itself, name actor, because producers say it all the time. Financiers say it all the time. Directors say it all the time. But name can mean a lot of different things depending on the project. A name for foreign sales may not be the same as a name for streaming. A name for theater is not always a name for television. A name for, or oftentimes that crosses nowadays, but a name for comedy may not move the needle in a thriller, but maybe it does. And a beloved actor may still not be meaningful to the people financing the movie. So when someone says, we need a name, my first question is, a name for what purpose? Are we trying to raise money, get distribution, create press value, attract other actors, anchor the cast creatively, make the audience understand the tone? Because those are all different strategies. Cheryl, when a producer says, yes, I'm calling on you. I know, I feel like there's so much information here.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
When they ask you, do you need a name? What do you say?
Well, first of all, I read the script myself, and then I ask them, what's the budget? Is it funded? Because that's very important. How much are you thinking of paying said name? And also, do they have a wish list? Because a lot of times they'll say in a perfect world, like they'll do that whole lookbook, and it will have Timothy Chalamet as something, and that would be like the ultimate goal. But I think that it's talking to the director, getting their wish list, but within reason, and kind of talking to them about, okay, this person makes this amount of money and that's what I got from the agent. Are we making direct offers? Are we asking, just availability? And are they available? Some of the name actors work all the time, right? So we have no idea if they're available or not. And so I have to get all of that information so that I can put together an offer, with the script, with who's the director, who's everything, with all of the pieces of the puzzle put together, and then send it to either manager or, I prefer managers actually, because there seems like they're easier to get to. And especially after COVID, it's a little easier now to actually get to the agents to return your call in LA, and New York. I'm in Atlanta, so but I put together packages and things like that all the time. And so those are basically the questions that I would ask.
Okay. I have a bunch of questions within this.
Okay.
So my thinking is, like, you're actually talking to the agents and getting a price range for the people you're talking about to see if you're within that.
Sometimes, if they will give me that.
Right. They don't, in my experience, they don't often
Right.
want to do that. And
I
then, huh? Oh, Robin, do you have some other some?
Well, I have a ton of other everythings, but in regards to this, like, here's the thing. I think that agents want to see what you're coming in at. And so I think by ways of the almighty dollar, I think that they want to see what accoutrements they're getting, and that's it, and then
What kind of accoutrements? Let's say it.
so let's go with theater. Okay. So we're talking sometimes housing. We're talking about transportation. We're talking about a budget for food. And that would go actually as well as for anything that's on camera as well, and so these are all things that have to be negotiated. Sometimes an actor has an assistant that flies with them. And so you have to account for the assistant, which that perk is always a little roll of eyes, honestly.
Yeah.
But we deal with it, and that's it. And and so and then sometimes too, let's say they're a really busy actor that has other engagements. They will also build in, as you're negotiating the contract, they will build in some of these other engagements that they have to step away from your process and go to the other thing. And, because I guess that's what keeps their train rolling. And so and so it's really and you try and make everything happen, you really do. Or at least I think that we all try and figure out how can we best accommodate if we as long as we can land the celeb, can we make all of their demands come true? And and sometimes we're super successful and sometimes we do have to say a hard no. And I don't know what the hard no looks like. I mean, I think that over the years we've all had to deal with like ridiculous things, and the ridiculous things really like like on a day of a shoot, like, or on a day that there's press, like they don't want to do this. Well, no, you have to do this. This is why you're getting paid the money you are, you know and and sometimes for them it's never enough, but they'll do it anyway. And I think when they do that, you're like, okay, got it. All right, thank you.
You're doing us a favor. Thanks a lot. Yeah. And that's the attitude, and that's not a good attitude to have, quite frankly. But
Hopefully they turn it around by the time they show up on set. Hopefully.
hopefully, and also it's like if you read the script and you can see like some out of the box casting is possible there. Sometimes it's good to sell it to the name's agent by saying this is something that they've not done, that they would probably want to experiment with, right? So you can maybe sell it that way to say this is, we've always seen her as this, but this is available and we're interested in her. Would she read the script? And then we can talk money and all of that,
I will say really quickly on the flip, we've all dealt with baby writers, baby directors, people who have, let's say, nice careers, up and coming careers, but nowhere near the echelon where a celebrity would engage. And there are those moments that we have to say to our creative team, you're not getting your celeb. It's nice, keep on dreaming. But no. And that's a real deal thing as well. And then there are moments where, someone has a relationship with someone and that's when you can get them onboarded. But for the projects that are really like of a certain caliber with a certain person, no. And I have talked with agents who have said, "Hey, let's say you flipped the director because you know what I mean? Like if you flip the director, then we'll engage again because they quote want the adult in the room, they call it, because if you're handling a celebrity, they want someone that really knows what it's like to have that person who, because as you very well know, celebrities, regardless of who the actor is, come in with their idea of the character. Sometimes they have to be wrangled in, some or obviously directed. And there are times where they too come with their ideas, and will their ideas be listened to, and how will that collaboration work? And we are the facilitators of making everything seamless and a-okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
you're
a good point.
describing us, yeah, as this, and I mean, we're this in between hub of this back and forth process of trying to explain reality to the production and trying to also entice the actor to do it,
And to
right? For
and to facilitate it all.
and yeah, that's what we do. That and we're just touching the surface of what this is. So, but it's interesting. Let's talk a little bit about what what is the name talent? Who's famous? Who's the what exactly are we talking about? Because listen, we see offer only on names on in casting platforms that are like, excuse me, who's that person? I mean, like, yeah, exactly. So what is a name talent? Can we define that?
Probably not because, right? I think that, my generation has certain stars that we grew up with that we knew and we give an incredible amount of respect to. but like my son doesn't know them, never heard of them. So I think you have to figure out, first of all, your demographic and what you are trying to achieve as far as box office money and things like that, as to how you're going to find that name, because it's different for everybody, right? I just did a horror film, no, it was about a year ago, and a lot of people name they wanted. I actually put it out on EcoCast for a name and said, we're looking for a name. Here's the budget. And I got some really interesting people. And some people I didn't know at all, but the director did. So it was like, it's kind of a dance. So you have to really think who your target audience is, and then it goes from there.
I'm going to pause this right here. If you're loving this conversation, the rest of this episode is available exclusively on Patreon. We go deeper into the real audition stories, the hard lessons, and the unfiltered behind-the-scenes conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Join us at patreon.com/casting confidential to hear the full episode and get access to bonus content, extended interviews, and our private community. If you're serious about understanding how casting really works, I'll see you inside Patreon.
Podcast in television and film with Rosen, CSA, and all the friends. Bringing you Casting Confidential. Casting, that's essential. Casting, so eventful. Kind of tune in to close friends, chilling with Rose. We call it Casting Confidential. Get a notepad ready, grab a pen and pencil. For magic to jot down, tell a friend too. A wonderful podcast in TV and film, we call it Casting Confidential. Let's go.